if we're ready, let's go ahead and make our way all the way down onto our backs. And just enjoy a couple of really good relaxing breaths flowing through the body. Wonderful inhales. Long, slow, relaxing exhales. Our intention for our class today is all about the spine. Everything from the low back up through the neck, helping those areas out so that the spine has a comfortable amount of mobility. We don't want the spine to get rigid. Sometimes there's this thing that happens when people get older where their spine starts to fuse together. So we're keeping mobility, but we're also moving in a very kind, gentle way to a very easeful extent, not forcing anything, not hurting the muscles or the spine itself. So very easeful, gentle day for this spine. So with that idea to get us started, let's begin. The knees gently come into the chest. And be kind on your body for a few moments as you start to rock a little bit left and a little bit right. Eventually, both hands go around this right knee. Slide the left leg long to the ground as long as that's still comfortable for the body. And gently give this right knee a little tug in. From this place, we start to turn this knee over to the right. Start to twist the knee over to the left. A very easy spinal twist. Don't feel any pressure to force anything to happen. The knee does not have to touch the ground. But just keep the spine opening. Be very gentle, very kind with the body. Beautiful inhale, relaxing exhale, and the hips start to return. Feel the stretch in that spinal twist coming out of the lumbar vertebrae. Once the hips are back down, clasp the hands around the back side of the thigh. And then 5 times we start to straighten the right leg up to the sky and gently bend it. Straightening up 4 and relax. 3 2 and 1. Hold here a few extra breaths, perhaps adding in some ankle rolls. We made sure here to include the hamstrings because sometimes that low back tightness actually comes from tightness of glutes and hamstrings. So we're making sure to loosen up these areas as well. So when this feels really nice, release the hands, let the straight right leg gently drop to the earth. Once it's rested, left knee comes into the body. Hands hug around it. And we gently pull, bringing this knee closer to the chest. Another beautiful inhale. Relax out that exhale. And very easeful, start to take this knee over to the right side. Again, nothing has to happen with this shape. If you start to feel even just the IT band and the hip opening, you can absolutely pause there. Perhaps you're continuing to introduce it deeper and deeper. really today take this extra time to feel the low back and how this pose affects it. If it's too much, back off. If it still feels good, perhaps play with it. Wonderful. Inhale. Relax off that exhale as the hip begins to melt its way back to the ground. Once it's there, grab onto the thigh. And 5 times, nice and gentle, the leg starts to extend up and let it bend. 4, 3, 2, and last one. This one you stay up at the top. Maybe add some very gentle, very nice ankle rolls. Allow your hands to let go. The straight left leg drops down to the earth. Once we're there, open the arms back up to left and to right sides. And then start to lift up the right fingertips. The right fingertips come up to the right shoulder. They trace straight across the chest to the left shoulder. And then continue to trace the right fingertips as close as you can get to this left hand without lifting either hip off the ground. We're stretching through those muscles, stretching through the spine. Another inhale. With our exhale, releasing. Circle like a rainbow. This right arm up through the sky. Feel the back returning to the ground. And then feel the spine opening back up to the earth. Once you're back at the starting position, lift up the left fingertips. Left fingertips come to left shoulder. Trace across the chest to right shoulder. And then trace all the way down the right arm as far as you can reach without the hips lifting up. So that really nice stretch, that really good rotation. Shoulder and spine opening up. Another inhale. And then left hand traces the rainbow up through the space above your head until your shoulders are able to open back up to the ground. Back at the starting spot, slide both heels in. They plant on the ground close to the glutes. And from this placement, you take the right knee over the left knee. This is a tight cross. There's no space that you can see in between the thighs. Once you've got that set up, both thighs come close to the chest. Each hand grabs onto each ankle. Oftentimes I lift my head up to grab, so then rest it back down once you've got the grip. Feel the very low spots of the spine. Those connections right at the hip area, starting to expand. Breathe into it. Almost like a little crunch, lift the shoulders back up. See if you can hug around these legs just a little bit deeper. Full spine curling in, almost like an inverted child's pose. One more inhale. And then exhale as the hands release, the left foot's back to the ground, right knee still crossing. And from here, the arms spread back open, left and right sides. The knees start to fall over to the left. A second twist for the low back. Be very easeful, very gentle. Remember, we're not forcing anything to happen. We're just encouraging the mobility. Deep inhale into the belly. Exhale, hips return back down. Both legs try to expand and stretch all the way up to the sky. Feel the back sides of the legs really working to expand. And then both knees simply plant back to the ground. Especially once the right foot rests down, left knee can cross tightly over. Bring the thighs in closer to the chest so that we can reach each ankle. Head resting down once you've got the grip. Try to gently pull in. Very deep spots of the spine. That sacrum definitely affects the spine. You can feel it if the sacrum's off. Walking is much harder. And here on the ground, just laying down helps encourage that sacrum to be a little bit more even and flat. It has this tendency sometimes to get pulled in crooked ways. So the ground is encouraging it to flatten back out to its normal alignment, pain-free place. And just feel every spot of the spine that's touching the ground supporting it to be long and tall. Enjoy another breath to flow into the body. Let that exhale, the shoulders start to lift up. Let's try to hug just a little bit tighter around both of these legs. Drilling in, it requires just a slight bit of core effort. So the spine round in this direction, it's very different than the spine laying on the ground. Take another great inhale. And with that exhale, release the spine back down, arms open back up, left and right. Right foot returns to the ground so that the knees can start to turn to twist all the way over to the right side. Notice what's happening in the low back. Is it happy with us or is it already agitated? Being kind no matter what's going on. Another huge inhale. And exhale, hips back down. And we uncross the legs. Take that brief moment, both legs reaching up to the sky. When the knees bend out to each side, we try to head up for happy baby pose. It's okay if you're grabbing onto the shins, the ankles, or maybe we can reach all the way up to the outside edges of the feet. When you've got the best grip possible, remember that the knees go wider than the triceps. So from here, it's very easy to rock left and right. Today, what we're going to try to do is add to that rocking motion so that rather than just going in this one direction, we're going to try to trace a huge circle all the way around our back. So in order to do that, we need to rock to one side. Let's rock over to the left side. Lift the hips up a little bit to rock through the upper back. Lower the right side down, and then continue a few circles in that direction. It's very possible that rocking slow is extremely difficult, and so you're absolutely welcome to go a little bit faster. But see if you can have that brief moment of hips lifting up a little bit more to rock to that upper back slightly more. Perhaps one more cycle to that left side. And then try to reverse it so that we're going to the circle on the right side first. It's okay if it's more of your thoughts doing it than your muscles. Thinking about poses also creates little physiological changes. It's very micro at first, but over time, thinking thoughts of flexibility does make you more flexible. Thinking thoughts of strong makes you stronger. So keep that law of attraction going for us. When you finish this next circle, if there's other little tiny movements that feel good and happy, baby, take a few more rounds. And as we start to release the feet, bring the knees together. As long as rolling like a ball is within your practice, let's try to go for 5 rounds. Be nice and gentle, nice and kind, so that your body can find that massage and that gentle alignment. Remember, no need to rush it. Feel it go all the way through the low back, middle back, all the way up to the shoulders. And then a gentle return. Let's take one more. Good. As we come back up, we're taking a pose similar to cobbler's pose, only our feet are literally as far forward as they can go with our feet still able to make a connection. So very, very far in front of us. This is much more like a star pose. The knees are still spreading open. So from this shape, make sure that you're tilting your pelvis forward rather than backward. If you're tilting back, sit on something, that'll help you out, but tilting up and then forward, begin to let the whole spine be heavy, up and over in the forward direction. What I love about going so far up and over with the feet this far forward, what I love about it is that as I weigh my head heavy, I can feel the stretch pull the muscles of my spine all the way down to the low back and even all the way up to the neck. So make your head heavy and see how many muscle groups in your back space that you can feel. Keeping the head heavy, bring the right hand to the right knee, and then start to straighten the right arm. Free the left hand off to the left so that your nose can simply go over the left knee. I've had massage therapists say that this is a muscle group that they've never really been able to stretch before until they found this pose. So feel where it goes to. It's the side of the spine in that low back. It's like you get to the spine and then it's a little bit off to the side. For when we're going over the left knee, you should be feeling it on the right part of the back. So very kind and gentle to that low back. Take your dear sweet time as you slowly return through the center. And eventually take that same pose over the right knee. The left hand is now on the left knee. We're gently pushing that arm to be closer to straight. It doesn't have to go all the way, but that slight activation helps the groundedness of the left side. And it gives us something to anchor against. Take a really good deep inhale. Exhale, we're gently back through the center. A few bonus breaths here to help the spine. Remember, both sides equally stretching. Rolling the spine up slightly. We're gonna scoot the feet in. This is maybe about halfway between this bar shape and cobbler's pose. So maybe 6 inches or so, we're scooting it inward, maybe a little bit more. And then start to round the spine back up and over. We won't be here quite as long as the first set, but I want you to feel different muscle groups being activated here, or perhaps just a different depth going on in the body. Gently roll the spine back up to stack. And then one more round. Scoot the feet as close in as they would like to go at this moment. And then one more time, relax up and over. The biggest thing we're doing here is paying attention to that spine. What are we feeling through the spine? Beautiful. Rolling the spine back up to stack. Free out the legs. We're going to swing our knees underneath our body. And then from this shape, sit your hips off the right side. So the legs are off to the left, our hips are off to the right. And from here, plant the right hand to the right. And then reach the left hand up and over. Try to jut the left ribs to the left as we reach it up to the sky. It's like we're tracing a rainbow all the way up the side of the waist and out the fingertips. Another good inhale. Exhale, the left hand rises, it grabs onto the left ankle, and then from here the right hand takes the opposite direction. So the ribs go to the right arm goes up and over. Feel how this is very different when we're now opposing the legs. Very nice deep stretch. Take another great inhale. And exhale, the hand drops back down. Pick your hips up and shift them off to the left side. And here we reverse. Left hand plants to the left. The ribs shift over to the right as we start to reach that right arm up and over. Huge rainbow shape. Great inhale. And exhale, right hand grabs to right ankle. Left hand starts to circle up and over. Another good inhale. Exhale helps us to rise. We free out the hips and we're up onto hands and knees. From here, we're going to take cat-cow spines, but I'm going to have us pay attention to the low back at first. And so be very kind, you don't have to go fast at all today. Rise up through the cat, feel that low back rounding. Dropping down to the cow, just notice what the low back wants to do. Does it take time to get it into shape? Rounding up, exhale. Dropping belly down, inhale. 3 more of these. And the next time our belly starts to drop into cow, stay in that shape of the spine, trying to exaggerate this arch. It'll feel nice after those cobbler poses that we did, 3 of them back to back. So now it's supporting this arch in the spine. Keep the low back in that shape as we start to move through the head, neck, and shoulder area. So make sure that the shoulders, rather than trying to curl in toward the ears, press them back away as if you're getting as much distance away from the ears as possible. And then from here, a magnet starts to attract the right ear to the right shoulder. And roll the head down. Left ear makes its way slowly to left shoulder. And then chin rises up through the center. Reverse direction right away. Left ear down. Continuing the circle nice and slow. Two more complete slow sets to each direction. If there's any spot of this that doesn't feel good, know that you don't have to continue the circle to that area. Conversely, if there's a spot that feels particularly tight on this last round, feel free to pause there. Really take time to explore the very tight areas, inviting those areas to loosen up for us. Take about 2 more breaths. Whatever's going on, we're helping to loosen and free up anything left over. And then we take just a brief moment to make sure the wrists are happy. Rock your weight backwards. Flip the backs of the hands down and lean forward enough to stretch out the forearms. Nothing too intense, just enough to make sure the wrists are still happy. When we flip the hands back down, make sure you're pressing through every fingertip. Even walk the hands 1 handprint further than where they were a moment ago. And then as we tuck the toes and lift up the hips, we're in a great downward facing dog shape. Again, pressing through fingertips is so key to make sure wrists are not aggravated. At some point, you'll be happy with these movements in down dog, and you'll start to make your way up to the top of the mat. Perhaps today you'll take little tiny baby steps all the way forward, taking your dear sweet time. Once you've found your way up to the top of the mat, be kind to your low back. You're not forcing anything to be too deep. The low back is very relaxed. And then clasping the hands, let the clasped hands weigh the back of the head down. helping to curl the neck in, just getting a kind chance to be with the neck and shoulders. Take 2 more breaths. And then as you release the hands, drop the hands onto the thighs and try to press the hands into the thighs to lift the spine halfway up. This will give our head a chance to recover, getting some blood pressure back to normal through the head. And as we're ready, continue to roll the spine all the way to a standing position. Bring the hands to the low back. Start to gently push the hips forward and begin to arch the spine up and back. Don't go so far that there's any pain at all. This is meant to just be a kind counter stretch to that forward fold we just took. Another good inhale into the belly. Feel the abs stretch by breathing. And exhale, heart comes up, hips come back. Drop the left hand to the left thigh. Circle the right hand up and over. Notice that the hips already immediately start to shift over to the right side so that you can feel that deep side body stretch. Return the arm back down, the body realigns. And right hand is down, circle the left hand up and over. Beautiful inhale, kind exhale, start to drop the hand back down, feel the spine lift up tall. As the arms are down by the sides, nice and relaxed, roll the shoulders up, back, and then releasing all muscular effort, they simply drop down behind us. Again, roll forward, up, roll it slightly back, and then just drop them down. 3 more rounds of that. Shoulders forward, up, back, and down. And again. Great work. Checking in with the spine. Make sure it all feels happy still. If there's any spot that feels like it's getting tired and weak, know that that's always the permission you have to start to make your poses more gentle, especially when we get past the halfway mark in class. Sometimes that's the point where a nice child pose is all that's required. That's okay. So from here, standing up nice and tall, bones stacked at the top of the mat, circle the arms up to the sky. Exhale, a very kind forward fold for that low back. Inhale, slide the hands up to the thighs, halfway lift. Exhale, hands slide back down. And just this right foot starts to lunge all the way to the back of the mat. Drop the right knee down. Make sure that as your hips start to sink forward, the knee does not go past the left toes. Walk the hands up to the thigh. Circle the hands up to the sky. Our torso is completely stacked right now. We're not leaning forward, we're not leaning backward, we're simply upright. And so from here, right hand drops to the outside of the left knee. The left hand starts to swing open behind us. This is a twist for the spine. Don't feel like you have to reach all the way back. Rather, listen to the spine. As we extend the spine upright, how much twist wants to happen. Take a beautiful inhale. Exhale, unwind. Gently plant the hands down. And then extend this leg straight for a moment. Feel the low back rounding up and over that straight leg. We kindly support this left leg as it comes back down. We're kneeling. From kneeling position, our hands walk forward a full footprint, or full handprint rather. And we lower ourselves all the way down onto the belly. Feel the elbows squeeze into your sides once your chest is touching the ground. Continuing to squeeze in with the elbows. Press up to only as much cobra as you're comfortable with. Remember, shoulders, they're not hiking up to ears, they're rolling back, dropping down behind us. Another inhale. Exhale, shift the hips all the way back to child's pose. And here we pause for a few wonderful rounds of breath. Coming up to kneeling position, take a cat, take a cow, walk the hands one step forward, tuck the toes, lift the hips up to down dog. Movements are always welcome if you wish. From here, right foot needs to slide all the way forward in between hands. Once it's there, the back knee can drop down. Again, test the waters, making sure the front knee can't go past the front toes as we sink forward. Walk the hands up to the thighs. Hips are continuing to melt in the forward direction. Once our stability is set, begin to circle the arms all the way up to the sky. Feel the shoulders dropping down, feel the spine lifting up. Lots of length, perhaps more length than we've had in quite a while. Left hand drops down to that right knee, so that right hand can begin to open up into a twist. Again, don't force anything. This is simply how much our spine wants to open. Take a wonderful inhale. Exhale, release, the spine returns back forward. As we drop the hands down, the front leg goes straight. And feel that low back rounding up and over. Start to shift this right knee back to the kneeling position. Hands walk forward just a little bit. We're in that nice kneeling plank. Try to keep the elbows squeezing in toward the body as you lower slowly down to the chest. And once you're here, This time we're staying on our belly for a little bit longer. Allow the left fingertips to slide directly open to the left side. As you rest the head down, the left middle finger should be in line with the eyes. So that's a good way to check the placement, that it's not too high, not too low. Middle finger in line with the eyes. But from there, the head needs to flip over to the other side, gazing to the right. Right hand is underneath the right shoulder, and that pressing into the right hand is what helps us to stack the hips, maybe even plant the top foot behind our glutes. Winding the shoulder open and feeling how that affects any tight areas that have been going on in the upper back, the thoracic back, the neck. Taking another inhale. And then with the exhale, we start to return the spine down to the ground. When that shoulder is completely free, slide the left hand in under the left shoulder. The right arm extends off to the right side. Remember the alignment, middle finger in line with the eyes. Then flip the gaze to be over to the left side as you rest your head down and begin to press into the left hand. Again, perhaps hip stack. Maybe the top leg can plant behind you. All the muscles connect all the joints and the bones. And so feel how stretching through these muscles affect your spine. Everything affects everything when it comes to hips and shoulders, even neck tightness. Just starting to loosen and free some of that out. Another inhale. With the exhale, the hips start to return back down. Once we're on our belly again, slide the elbows underneath the shoulders for a Sphinx pose. Feel your hands dragging toward your body without actually letting the body move. The hands are not moving. Instead, the heart is arching and holding the abdominal muscles just a little bit. Now, almost like a pigeon pose for our shoulders, we're going to lift the left elbow up. This will create some space for the right arm to thread under and through. Try to get the entirety of this right shoulder down. From there, the left hand can simply place down in a placement where your head can comfortably rest down onto it. We're trying to drop the shoulders down toward the earth, as if we're trying to keep the shoulders as square as possible. And breathe into that right shoulder stretch. If you don't feel anything, you can try dropping the right shoulder away from the right ear, or you can play with walking the fingertips a little higher or a little lower. Begin to unwind this right arm and then lift the right elbow up as we thread the left shoulder under and through, trying to get the shoulder all the way down. The right hand swivels in, creating a pillow for the head to rest onto. And again, take all the time you need to readjust until you do feel the shoulder opening. here, begin to unwind the arms. Bring the hands to plant under the shoulders. As we press up, shift the hips back into a high kneeling or a low kneeling position, whatever works best for us. And from this placement, we begin to take our hands into little fists and gently pound the fists like a little massage for the low back. Walk the pounding up as high as you can reach, and then walk it down. Get all the spaces for a little bit longer. As we release, come up to the high kneeling place. From here, the left fingertips slide down the left leg, going as far down as they can. The right shoulder is trying to resist it, so the shoulder gets pulled down to the right side, even though our body is sliding down the left side. Continue to drop the left ear to the left shoulder. This will exaggerate the stretch across the top of the right shoulder into the neck. Gently slide the left hands back up. Right hand slides down. Remember, left shoulder is resisting down as the head tilts to the right. Sliding back up. Set the hips down. Take a child pose. Feel what's going on in the back at this moment. Sliding hands in, roll our spine all the way up. And from here, we're going to shift our sitting bones to be onto the ground, swinging the legs forward. Begin to head all the way down onto your back. And once you're down, take your hands, rubbing them together, creating a little bit of friction. Once you feel that your hands are warm, begin to massage through the neck and the shoulder area, giving your body one last kindness before we start to head in toward the direction of our Shavasana. As this starts to feel complete, begin to drop your hands down. Make sure your body's superbly comfortable. Make any adjustments you need to do to get there. And I'll guide you through a mini meditation as we're starting to head in toward this Shavasana. And then I'll leave you with a little bit of silence before we completely wrap up. So here, imagine your legs are roots. Imagine sending your roots into the earth miles and miles deep. Feel all those roots expanding out like the little hairs on a leg. All those hairs are roots trying to search for and taste all the nutrients in this area. And imagine that your legs have tapped into a source of nutrient that feels like nectar or like a golden light that starts to flow up your legs. Just like that thickness of honey, it's a slow traveling up all those capillaries on your legs. But feel the moment when that nectar hits your tailbone, your low back. And feel it feed that root chakra. So healthy, so full of life and vitality, goldenness just spreading through that hip and pelvic area. And that honey begins to travel further up into the sacral chakra, the sacrum, the reproductive organs, all comforted, nourished. The kidneys are able to be told that there is no reason for adrenaline right now. We are so relaxed that adrenaline almost feels silly. The intestines are getting nourished, and that golden light continues to travel up into the solar plexus chakra, continuing to feed yet more organs and intestines, eventually traveling all the way up to the liver and to the stomach. As this nectar hits the lungs and the heart, take a deep sip of breath in to notice what it is to breathe with this golden light encompassing the lungs and the heart chakra. And feel this nectar flow effortlessly into the hands, removing all tension, especially in the head, neck, and shoulder areas. As this golden nectar starts to flow past the throat chakra and into the skull, it fills up the base of the head first, the part of the head that's touching the ground. And like a cup getting filled, it fills from the base all the way up. Eventually, your ears are encompassed by this cup filling up. Your cheeks and jaw feeling so filled with this golden light. Your eyes and your third eye are completely enveloped with golden light. And almost like going underwater, your nose is the last thing. So feel that first sip of air as you breathe into the golden nose, gold nectar, honey, encompassing the entire body, filling it with nutrients, with love, with happiness, with peace. And feel that moment when the honey seeps right through the crown chakra and begins to help you feel connected to consciousness, to our source. So in this blissful state, we get to stay for just a little bit longer till the breaths flow in and out. When your body feels ready, start to introduce movements to the body, feeling how it is to move fingertips and toes with this golden, nourishing light completely filling our system. Eventually you feel the arms wanting to stretch like we're waking up. Enjoy a huge sip of air filling our golden body. And as we exhale, we start to take a comfortable, relaxing fetal position. Sip another breath in and out. And then it's as if our muscles are not even moving. We simply find ourselves floating up to a seated position. And feel what it is to have your entire spine filled with golden light. Feel how effortless and painless it is to be sitting tall and strong. From this place of beauty and light, we wrap up this wonderful time that we got to share together with a silent Om, letting the sound Om resonate through your mind with the next entire exhale. Let's inhale together now. May we be filled with light and happiness and peace. Namaste.